Welcome my peeps, my peoples. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It'll be greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart, my peeps, my peoples. It's Mary Jane. So anyways, we're going to talk about growing up hip hop, Atlanta. We're going to talk about season 2, episode 8 and episode 9. So let's start off with episode 8. So basically, we're talking about, Johnny meets up with Bow Wow basically to have a conversation, and basically it's all finished and done. Like, he apologized, she apologized, everything's all good. They hug, they walk away, but Johnny looked like she wanted to say, come get me, Bow Wow, come and get this. The way she was looking at Bow Wow, it looked like that, she would have gladly went home with him that night, and it looked like he could have got some that night too as well. It looked like they hooked up after that little episode. But we heard that Johnny Blaze has been going off on Deb and been going off on Bow Wow on Instagram or whatever. I didn't get a chance to watch her rant, but we'll see what happens. And we know Bow Wow been ranting about he's gonna fire somebody, supposedly supposed to be Brandon, and we have Brandon on IG going off too. I didn't watch that yet, but we'll see what happens. I'll find out. I'll watch it. So anyways, they meet up, they talk, everything's all good. They apologize. He apologized for calling her a B word, so it's cool. So then we get, Ayana's getting her breast reduction. Amy's there by her side. Her father shows up a little bit late, but she's going through with the breast reduction. When the doctor walked in, and DJ Hurricane looked at him and was like, I got some bad news for you. She's not going through with the surgery. And Ayana had tears down her face. I just knew Ayana wasn't going to do it. And then she was like, oh, that's what he wants, but I'm doing it. I was like, oh, shit. The doctor looked like he was kind of intimidated by DJ Hurricane, because you see how big and tall he is. So anyway, she got the surgery. She's good. Amy's been nursing her, taking care of her. Everything worked out perfect. She had no bad things happen. So it's all good. So everything went good with that situation. So we got Brandon. He meets up with his friend Melissa. So we get to see Brandon with his friend Melissa, and basically, she's coming down to Atlanta to give Brandon some support, to help him out, to be there for him. And basically, she's like, the angel on his left to right shoulder, you know what I mean? Like, she helps him out because she's also in psychology, and she's a therapist, a psychotherapist, he said. So anyways, they meet up, they're talking, they're having a good conversation or whatever. He was like, I feel like I'm on a date, when he was with her. She was like, so when the last time you've been on a date? He was like, well, there's been people sliding up in my DMs, but they ain't my type, and they ain't my cup of tea, basically. And so he opens up to her and tell her about the interview, and basically some of his cast members are upset. He was calling them friends, but they're really not friends. I don't know. It don't seem like they're really friends off camera. So anyways, he was just saying that, he did an interview, and basically was just saying he works harder than the other people. And he said they took the interview out of context or whatever. But what he said about, Regine's father, Lil Wayne, was kind of wrong. So that was the only part that I saw was wrong when he talks of but it wasn't really wrong at all, because everyone has a right to choose who they believe is a legend or not. And that was just his thing. And so basically, Brandon gives us a little side confession, tell us that he was homeless and everything, and Deb, helped him out. Deb was there for him, and she let him move into her house, and she took care of him like, she was his mother, and he really appreciated that she gave him everything. She opened up his home to her. Only thing I can say about Brandon is kind of weird, I believe it's kind of weird for him, because, you heard about him talking about he was homeless, his father abused him. Then we find out that Brandon is gay as well. He admitted on episode 9. So, but the thing about that is, being in Deb's life and being around all these Hollywood people, industry people, that has to be a lot for Brandon to deal with too as well, because he doesn't come from that walk of life. He doesn't have everything handed to him. He doesn't live in mansions. He doesn't have mansions. He doesn't have money. He wasn't catered to. He was abused as a child. So he's coming in a situation with really thick skin and trying to be tough, and trying to make the situation happen on growing up hip hop, because this is an opportunity for him, because look where he came from a couple of years ago. He was homeless. And being around people that has it all and has everything is hard. Sometimes it could be difficult to deal with, because you feel like your insecurities, that you don't feel like you're worthy enough to be around these people, and these people don't appreciate this or that or whatever. But just being in that token and knowing that, Deb is not his real mom, and she's basically just, found somebody to latch onto after her son died. That's what people say, whatever. And her son committed suicide. I don't know if her son committed suicide because allegedly he was being bullied and stuff like that on the internet. I don't know if it was because of his sexuality or not, because I can't remember, because it was a long time ago. But God rest his soul, and R.I.P. to Deb's, son or whatever. So I just feel like Brandon, it's hard for him to fit in because he doesn't come from that walk of life, and they also know where he come from too as well. Even though they seem like they're accepting him, but he has to accept himself and know that he's worthy to be in any circle. And I think he's getting that. Plus, he had to open up and just tell everybody that, hey, this is who I am. I am gay, basically. And that would release the chip off his shoulder too as well. And then also it's a good storyline for this season. Maybe Brandon will be going on dates. So anyways, on from that, so Brandon talked to his friend. Basically, they're thinking about having a dinner. So Brandon's going to have a dinner and all of the other good stuff to meet up with everybody to talk about the interview. But everybody ain't going to show up. Ayana's not going to show up because she just had the surgery. Shania's in Miami chilling in that nice ass condo she was at. She's over there with Willie D. So anyways, moving on from that. I was like, damn, she is chilling. Shania, she's chilling. She's doing her thing. So anyways, Bow Wow's at the studio. He's with Pimpin' and whatever. And, Brat wants to hear that music. She still wants to hear that music. But basically, she runs up on Bow Wow while he's sitting by himself in the studio and asks him, yo, what happened to the statue? What happened to this? Why do you have some girl come up in here? Some girl that you was having sex with, some girl that you was, digging her down and all that other stuff. And now she's out here wilding out and she's one of your girls. Does JD know about this? And how come I had to hear about it through, Miss Deb or whatever? And Bow Wow was like, Miss Deb brought her. It was a setup. It was like, basically, I was supposed to meet with Miss Deb, and then she came along and she was wilding, blazing the third, and the Brat was like, keep your girl in check. She was like, she ain't my girl, so I can't keep her in check. And so anyways, she was like, so who's gonna pay for the statue? Don't tell Jermaine Dupri. That's what Bow Wow was saying. Let's keep the secret between me and you, and all this other stuff. Brat goes and look at the statue. She sees that it's broke. There's a crack or whatever. Bow Wow's like, it ain't no big deal. Just chill out. So I think Brat needs to get another job because she's all in everybody's business. Even though everything that Brat's saying is correct and is right, and I have nothing against the Brat. I love the Brat, but damn, you need to find you some own kids and bring them on this show and then teach them and train them because you're all up in everybody's business. Even though you're doing it correctly because JD's your boy, so he's family. You're going to look out for him. And you feel like people are doing Miss Deb wrong, so you're looking out for Miss Deb or whatever. But damn, you got to find something else to do, Brat. You're like the principal of the show. You're like the head honcho in charge, making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, and they ain't doing nothing they're not supposed to do. And so anyways, she was like, that statue costs like $25,000. And Bow Wow was like, I got this in check. I'm going to fix it. It ain't going to be no thing. Don't worry about it. And so anyways, Bow Wow alludes to like, he'll do his own thing. He don't need JD to mix his stuff. He's his own boss and all this other stuff. And then Bow Wow, I guess he said that he was better than JD or whatever. And so then the Brat picked up a chair like she was going to hit Bow Wow and she walked out. And so then Bow Wow was like, yo, Brat, you're your own boss. Brat, you should be your own boss. Why are you running up behind JD? Because you're just as good as him. You can stand right next to the man. You're the first female that went platinum. Like, come on, like, you gotta be kidding me to run around and be his yes woman or whatever. I was like, damn, Bow, you went there with that. He was like, you be your own boss. He was like, I wish I would run around and kiss JD's tail like the Brat does. But I don't think, I just think that, Jermaine Dupri's her boy. So anyways, we get Deb and Johnny. They go to an interview, and basically the interview guy is mad disrespectful. He was like, oh, Deb, why do you continue to choose to work with difficult artists that have bad reputation, like Johnny Blaze? Like, we hear all this negative stuff about her. She's wilding out. She's in the internet. She's in the streets or whatever, the internet streets. Like, why do you continue to choose to work with difficult artists? She was like, let's focus on that talent. Let's be clear. Talent is the most important thing. And if you put, Johnny next to any other artist, she'll stand out. She can outdo them and all this other stuff. So we hear, Johnny Blaze single. I think it sounds good. I think it sounds nice. I'm feeling it. I like it. If it's on iTunes, I'm gonna cop it because I want to support Johnny Blaze. She's been through a lot. Even though she's so reckless with her mouth, she just needs counseling. She really does. She needs a strong team because once you've been abused and hurt for so long, it takes a long time for you to sober up from your negative ways and behaviors that you learn how to deflect certain situations. And it's so easy to go off because it's something you've been doing so long that it's like a drug. It's like second nature. Let's go off. Let me wild out. And especially with the internet today, with, you know, Twitter, Instagram, it's a wrap. So anyways, the music sounds good or whatever, but you know, one thing I did like what Deb said, she was like, the guy was like, you know, everybody got skeletons in the closet. Deb's like, let's be clear, we don't have skeletons, we have cemeteries. I was like, oh, cemeteries, Deb, who you got in the cemetery? So I was like, who do you got in the cemetery? Like, come on, tell me, let me find out. So anyways, moving on from that, I was just like, damn. But Johnny Blaze song was really good. And so we get Deb, you know, Brandon trying to contact her and trying to talk to her, but he's not able to get in contact with her because she's avoiding him. But in the episode before that, in episode 7, Deb said Brandon would ignore her. He would go away, don't come back. She wouldn't see him in the house. They wouldn't have conversation. He would disappear. He was like so, you know, so private that she didn't know what was going on with him or whatever, who he was dealing with. He'll go for 2 weeks, he'll go for a week. She wouldn't hear a peep out. So now Deb is turning the tables and she's ignoring Brandon. Brandon's trying to contact her and he finally gets in contact with her. And then they end up meeting and talking, and it was a sad thing because we never seen Brandon cry, so it was very heartwarming and very, you know, sad to see Brandon cry because, you know, he's always so strong and always have this, you know, tough exterior, but basically he broke down. He was like, you know, my father beat me. So we probably know why his father beat him, because he was probably different from other boys or probably enjoyed other things than what his father wanted him to. His father could have been a mean, low down, dirty son of a bitch. And then if the mother was in the house, she didn't do anything because she was scared to get beat too as well, or she agreed with the father, or she just didn't protect her child. Some bullshit. So anyways, Brandon was like, yo, I've been homeless. Deb, you set me into your house. You took care of me. You helped me. You was always there for me. You made me feel love. And she was like, yo, listen, you accomplished a lot in the past couple of years. You have rise. You're a rising star. But you got to leave. You got to get the hell out of my house. You got to go. You need to go on your own. Develop yourself better. It's time for you to leave the nest, baby. You need to fly away and go away. And they cried, they hugged, and Deb was in a confession. It was like, these tears, I'm crying, but these tears are really a joy. It's a relief. She was like, I'm good with Brandon. I'm tired of the nonsense. I'm tired of the bullshit. So anyways, moving on from that, we get to, you know, now we're going to go to, you know, season 2, episode 9 of Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta. And so now, so we get to, you know, JD, he's back. He wants to hear Bow Wow single, basically, because it left off of the previous episode. The first song that Bow Wow and Pimpin' played for JD and, you know, the Brat, it was trash. It was trash. The second song, JD liked, Pimpin' liked, the Brat liked. It was on point. JD was like, yo, I'm gonna mix that, do this or whatever. And so then that's when the Brat jumped in and was like, yo, remember he didn't want you to work with him. Remember he didn't want us to listen to the music. Remember he was doing this. Remember he was talking about all this other stuff. Remember Bow Wow did that. Remember Bow Wow did that. So don't jump up so easy and work for him, because Bow Wow needs to learn a lesson, because, you know, he was upset that he was out there working with Usher and all that other bullshit. So basically, the Brat ain't feeling it. Brat, what you want JD to mix an album for you? So anyways, so Bow Wow was begging JD, and then JD was like, I don't know now, because Brat done changed his mind. So he's feeling a certain type of way. And so Bow Wow is begging the same guy he didn't want to work with anymore, the same guy he didn't want to have nothing to do with. But it is what it is, because Bow Wow is like a grown big kid. So it is what it is with that situation. And so moving on from that, we get to the juice bar. Basically, they're having a juice bar. Tiny has a juice bar. Basically, she's opening up. She's going on tour with her daughters, Inique, with the Escape Tour or whatever, before they changed their name. And so she opened up a juice bar. She invited everybody to come. DJ Hurricane came with his friends. You know, Toya came. Miss Deb is there or whatever. And they're having a conversation. And they're talking about Brandon in this interview. And he kind of, you know, sour, you know, Deb and how she feels. And she's like, I let him go. He got to learn how to do this. Brandon walks in and was like, what you talking about, Toya? Was like, we talking about you, baby. And he was like, oh, I hope it's good things, basically. And he was like, you know what, give me a hug, Toya. He hugged Deb or whatever, and they have a little conversation. So he pulls Inique to the side. Bow Wow didn't show up. And, you know, Ayana is still in bed getting nursed by, you know, Amy. And so then for that situation, what does she do? She talks to Zynique. So Brandon talks to Zynique, and when he talks to Zynique, basically, or whatever, he's talking to her to basically to, you know, have a dinner, basically get everybody coming through for the dinner, because he wants to talk to everybody about the interview. He wants to, you know, make sure they get everything off their chest that they want to get off their chest. And so Zynique was like, yeah, all right. And so then she calls, you know, Reginae. Reginae is going to come through. And so, you know, Zynique, she did a group text basically, and she group texts everybody, come to the dinner. So I was like, oh shit, Brandon's maturing. Brandon is like, yeah. And so we find out that Brandon got his own apartment. He done moved out. He got his nice little TV. He got a living room set. He got things going on. So it's nice. Brandon's doing his thing basically. So then they all meet up for dinner. Brandon's late. Everybody's like, oh my God, Brandon's late. Bow Wow's hoping that nothing goes wrong, nothing goes bad. Like it's not a bad situation. And Reginae hopes so too as well. Ayana is absent and Shania is absent, but Brandon shows up, and basically the meeting goes well, and Brandon lets everybody know that he is gay. And it was like, and he was like, Zynique, you knew, right? She was like, yeah. And everybody's just laughing. It was like, it's all good, it's no problem. So now they understand that maybe he had this tough hysteria because he wasn't living his truth. Now he's walking in his truth, so he feels good about the situation. Then guess who shows up? Miss Deb shows up. She wants to make sure the meeting's going fine. And plus, on top of that, she has a school that she has adopted, basically taking care of kids in the community that are impoverished, single moms, single fathers, you know, kids that are in foster homes, kids that are in group homes. And basically this is her time. She was like, the kids really want to see you, Reginae and Bow Wow. You guys gonna show up? Are you guys gonna come through? And Reginae was like, I got school on Thursday, which Tiny told Miss Deb at the juice party that Reginae is going to be busy because she has school on Thursday. So then Bow Wow was like, yeah, I'll be there. Word up, I'll be there. I love the kids. Trick love the kids. And so Bow Wow bounces and he leaves or whatever. And so everything's all good so far. You know, Zynique, she's leaving. She's getting ready to go on tour. She's talking to, you know, Reginae, and basically kind of like laughing about Brandon's situation. And so, but I don't know if they're laughing like if it was like, wow, are they shocked, or they already knew, or they're just like, wow, I can't believe like he actually did that. So, but they were laughing. So I don't know if the laughing was positive, if the laughing was negative or not. But anyways, so she's bouncing and she's leaving, so it's all good. And so now we get to Bow Wow. He is with Pimp and going to other labels and meeting up with other people, and it's like, oh my goodness, like you done mixed this album, you done worked on all this stuff, and now you're gonna go to another label because he feels like JD is taking slow on his feet. He want to get the music out. So now he meets up with this other guy. This other record label company was like, yo, we can put the music out, we can remix it, stop waiting on it. And he's feeling some type of way because JD's taking his time. So Bow Wow wants to kind of like step out of, you know, working with JD and everything. I was like, damn it, Big and Pimpin' is there with him. I was like, oh shit. And then on top of that, Pimpin' calls, you know, the Brat and tells her that, you know, he's shopping around for deals and he's looking for deals and different things like that. I was like, oh man. And so now the Brat, she's upset, she's mad, and she was like, yo, something gonna happen with Bow Wow because he can't keep doing this. He can't keep coming back and forth. We went with Diddy. Diddy didn't do shit for him. And he went with all these other people, Dick, Harry, and James. It just didn't. I was like, oh, pause. And so basically the Brat is upset. Now she wants to talk to JD and find out, like, yo, what we gonna do with Bow Wow because he's acting up like, you know, he's not doing what he's supposed to do. And so then we get Miss Deb. She goes to Brandon's house. It's nice. He gives her a key. They hug. They kiss. They joke around. He was like, you know what? I love myself. I'm black and beautiful and all this. And she was like, you need to get a lift, a breast lift or whatever. He was like, no, I need a penis implant. She was like, oh no, that's too much information for me, baby. And so he gives her the keys. They hug and they bounce. So it's all good. And I was like, oh shit, where's Melissa at? I guess Melissa did some really good stuff with Bow Wow. So anyways, Bow Wow tells the record label that process everything. I don't have an answer for you this weekend. So Pimpin' done already snitched on Bow Wow because he's trying to keep his job just in case it doesn't go with Bow. He still has his job over there with JD. So I was like, oh shit. And so So anyways, the Brat and, JD meet up, and the Brat was like, yo, you know, Shad Moss is really disrespectful. He doesn't treasure us. He doesn't have loyalty. He was talking about you don't pay him. He's shopping around his album with other labels and all this other stuff. And then, Jermaine Dupri was like, yeah, he always does that. You know what I mean? That's what he does. And the Brat was like, no, he can't keep doing that shit. He can't keep getting away with that. He can't do that at all, because that's not right. That's not fair. It's supposed to be loyalty. And it's like, you keep giving him a slap on the wrist. He was like, what, you want me to punish him? What do you want me to do? Then JD was like, you want me to kick him out? You want me to kick him out, give him the boot? And the Brat looks like, yeah, she's ready for it. She wants some type of punishment or some type of apology. She wants him to write, I will not be disloyal to the family anymore, like 3,000 times or whatever. And so it is what it is. Peace. I'm out. One love.